All right. I don't think anybody is here yet, but I'm gonna get this started because I'm not sure how much time I have. So if you're out there and watching, welcome. I'm in my home studio, trying to stay home as much as I can. Hopefully, you're doing the same. Um, be a part of the solution, not part of the problem. If you can stay home, stay home. You all know what's going on, so let's move forward from here and onto what I'm doing here. So the last time I was on, a few days, I think it was just a few days ago, um, with my new pedal board build. I know it's not really that important right now, but it's really all I have left here. Um, I do work from home, so I'm still able to do some work, but I also can, work in here in the studio and get some stuff done. So I figured, why not build my new pedal board while we're all in downtime. If you saw the other day, what I had going on, so I'm gonna hold up my phone and just show you pretty much what I had. Hopefully you can see this. So I played a show back on the February 29th, and I had built this board. I know it's not the greatest picture in the world, but you can kind of see what it is. Let me get it closer here. I had an ES5, and I had all this cool stuff on the board. The show went well, and this was the first test run for this board. It was okay, but after playing the show, I realized it wasn't exactly what I wanted. So fast forward to pretty much just the other day, um, and this is what I had going on. If I can find the photo for that, let's see. I posted this on Instagram and other places, but I went to an ES8 and I got the HX Stomp, got rid of the MD500, kept the DD500, and I had all this stuff. And this was my big bowl of spaghetti to, just plugging things in and figuring out what I wanted to do and making sure everything works, trying to work on MIDI. And that made me realize that the way I'm going about this now is not the way I want to end up. So, and I'm the type of person where I know you guys that are watching and have been following me probably think I'm nuts right now, but I am the type of person that I have to go through every phase, every stage of getting to the end point of what I'm trying to do and what I want to accomplish. So I may lose money doing it, but it's the only way I know how. I start with one thing and say, yeah, this is going to work. Gradually change things as I'm going along. Completely change something. Start something new. Go along a little more. Change a little here and there. Take a pedal out, add a pedal in, get something bigger, this and that, and then end up at the end point, which I think I'm at now. So that first photo I showed you was the Friedman 1525 board. That's already sold. It was on Reverb. It's sold. It's already in the new owner's hands. Good luck with that. And the Boss ES5 I sent back to Sweetwater. I had gotten the ES8, but pretty much everything in that big bowl of spaghetti that you saw, except for the True Tone CS12 power supply, which I'm not sure if I'm keeping that yet, but that's staying as of now. The Friedman Buffer Bay, and I think that might be it. Everything else has been put on Reverb. As you can see behind me, back here, there's the ES8 box. I got all boxes ready to go with stuff. I sent out 3 boxes this morning. The HX Stomp sold, the DD500 sold, and the Hall of Fame Mini Reverb sold. And I got a couple more boxes back here. Also, if you find me on Reverb, the purple Warn Epiphone is up, and also the Edwards ESP Strat is up. Let me get to those first. I love those guitars. They're great guitars, but at this point in time, especially with what's going on in the world, I don't need them. The Epiphone I could find. Down the road. It's a great sounding. You saw my video on it. Great sounding, great playing guitar, but I don't need it. I realized that, and I'm not sure if you can see, but behind that umbrella there is my 1991 EVH Music Man. Love that guitar, love the way it feels. So I'm going to be looking for a PV Wolfgang, probably a special, because I don't want to go crazy on price with this stuff. So I'm watching a few on Reverb right now. So I got to sell those two guitars. So if you know anybody, let me get out of the way. If you know anybody that would like that Edwards, there's actually an unboxing video on YouTube for it, and there's a demo video on the Epiphone, and you can get a good deal on these. Both of these, I'm selling them. The Edwards, the ESP, comes with the case, and a really nice case. The other one doesn't, but it's going to get packaged just the way it came to me from Musician's Friend. What is up, Pap? Thanks for coming out. I was a little bored today, so I figured a lot of other people were. There's not many people here right now, but maybe others will chime in later. So those guitars are on Reverb, and I would love to sell this. Like I said, I sent out 3 boxes today and a couple yesterday. I would love to sell out what I have in my Reverb store ASAP before they shut us down. It looks like there's a lockdown coming. There's already been some across the country, so for 2 weeks anyway. I want to get, if someone buys this stuff, I want to get to the post office or FedEx or UPS today so you can have your new stuff. Alright, so back to the pedal board. So the Friedman board's gone, kept the buffer bay, sold the power grid, keeping the True Tone CS12, and pretty much everything else on that board is going. And what I am going to get in its place, and I've had two of these, 3 of these in the past, is the Line 6 Helix. My reasoning for selling the Helix last time was that it was back when I was just using it direct. I wasn't using an actual tube amp with it. I was using it direct, and I just didn't want the whole modeling amp thing going on anymore. So I sold that and went to a Kemper. You know if you follow me. So now with the Synergy stuff, which is tube, I can have the best of both worlds. So I figured rather than going crazy building this, the board was going to be beautiful when it was done. I was going to do everything by the book, making my own cables, which I still will for connections on the Helix. But I haven't gotten the Helix yet. I'm looking at a few right now, various places. Nothing new. I'm probably going to buy used. And I'm still going to build the board with the Helix on it, with my talk box, with the buffer bay, and maybe the True Tone. I might have to switch that out for something else. I don't think I'm going to use any external pedals. The whole idea for me using something like the Helix is to get rid of all the other junk, all the other crap. It's got good enough effects in it, I think, anyway, to take the place and sound just as close as it can to the actual pedal. And the other thing is, when I had the HX Stomp that I just sold, that was going to be my backup rig in case something went, if I had a backline amp and something happened, I can use the HX Stomp as my backup amp. But then after thinking about it, I was like, well, I'm going to have to get some kind of a MIDI controller pedal, because there's only 3 buttons on it to do everything that I need it to do. It could handle all the effects and stuff that I need, but if I had to run direct off of it, adding an amp and a cab into it, was going to have me pull stuff out, so I would have to have more presets for certain songs, and I was just going to need more buttons in order to access everything that I needed. So after driving myself crazy for the last 2 to 4 weeks, I am going to the Helix, mainly in the 4-cable method, just for effects. It's going to give me everything I need, and I will have a viable backup amp in case something goes crazy on stage, and it'll be a quick changeover. Let me just check something here. That's fine. I'm just checking if I got a message. So yeah, so if you're here, if you're on, say hello in the chat. And that's where I'm standing now. I still got a few pedals. I got the Pog, which sounds great, by the way. I've got the MXR micro flanger that's on reverb. The Boss ES8, which is here, is already boxed up, it's on reverb. There's an Boss NS2. I might keep the Boss SD1 because it's a cheap pedal. I might need use it for something else down the road. I've got the MXR Phase 90 still, and there might be another pedal or two that I have to sell, but I'm hoping I can get a Helix and have it shipped out by whoever I buy it from within, before everything shuts down. Because if I am going to be stuck home and not be able to go anywhere, I want to make sure I have everything I need that I can start building. And I'm still waiting on the pedal board that I did buy. It said it's supposed to be here or sent out by March 27th. So today is the 20th. So by next Friday, they should hopefully be sending that out. Now the idea with that is I'm going to mount the Helix just using the really good Velcro, the 3M stuff, dual lock. I'm going to mount that onto the board. I have two Rocktron Banshees, so I'll mount one to that board and I'll keep the other one loose. And I will mount the buffer bay to the board and also mount whatever power supply I'm using to the board. Now if I have a fly date, I'm not going to take the full board with me. I'm just going to take the Helix off of it, probably get the Helix bag, put that in there with my other talk box, no buffer bay if I'm flying somewhere, and just go with that. I think this is just the easiest thing to do, the most viable thing to do, the smartest thing to do, where I can still have really good tone, but it's just a lot easier to make this all work for myself personally. So I'm happy to announce I'm back in the Helix family. I don't think I ever left, but I'm going to be using the Helix again, mainly for effects. Now the other thing, going back to this whole coronavirus thing, I want to just go on to that for a minute. As I said when we started this, try to stay home if you can, please. I had to go out this morning just for, I bought a grill. I needed a new grill just in case we are stuck at home. I want something I can grill on. My old grill wasn't working correctly, so I went and bought a cheaper grill at Home Depot. And the amount of people still out on the roads here in Rhode Island where I am is crazy. I know people have to go to work and this and that, but it just seems like even in the stores, no one's really taking this as seriously as they should. And that kind of bothers me. And really, just try to stay home. I know it's hard, and because if you don't stay home now, we're going to end up having to stay home for a lot longer than that, 2 weeks. So even though they haven't mandated yet, just try to stay home. Now, the one thing that has me worried, really, for my situation, is my daughter has Crohn's disease. If you've followed me through the years, you'll know that. And she's doing really, really well, like great. She's doing great with it. But she has her 8-week infusion next week. So if they lock us down, I'm hoping they're going to have to let us out for something like that. She has to get to that. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm going to go anyway. The hospital has to be open. They have to do it. So that's the one thing that worries me, is getting her to where she needs to go to get what she needs. And just like anyone else in her situation, they can't shut this stuff down if people have to go to regular, if you got physical therapy, you can do stuff like that at home. You can do it through Skype with your physical therapist, but stuff like getting an infusion where they're actually putting, a needle in your arm and they're drawing blood and all that stuff, and they're putting meds into you, you got to be able to go. So I hope my voice is coming through on this, and I hope the stream is okay. From my end, it looks good. Last time I did this, I was dropping some frames, but I'm not dropping any frames whatsoever today. I just got done playing through the Synergy, the Syn 2. It just sounds so good. and I played it through my DSL 100. So it's going through a tube amp through my 412. It sounded great, kind of bright, so I had to adjust the settings on it. And then I played it through my Headrush 112. Sounded great through that using the cab simulation, and it wasn't as bright, so I had to bring some brightness back into it. But the thing just sounds really good. I really want the Bogner Ecstasy. If anybody from Synergy is watching, I'm going to try to tag Synergy on this. If anybody from Synergy is watching, I'd love to do a review demo on the Ecstasy preamp. Get in touch, and I'll get that done. But that I'd like to see. I'd probably have that in the future, but who knows when. I just got something from Musician's Friend today saying that they're having a lot of their workers work from home, which is good. So if anybody wants to get something ordered, they should probably get it ordered soon. And that's why I was saying that about Reverb. If that purple guitar back there has 33 people watching it right now. 33 people watching it. If you want the guitar, make an offer so I can get it out before things get shut down. Now, someone else just jumped on. Hey, what's up? Hey, Aaron, what's up? A couple of people just jumped on. So, Aaron, I don't know how long you've been here or how short you've been here, but just to make things a long story short, everything that was on my board of spaghetti the other day is pretty much up for sale, and about a third of it's already sold. I shipped out 4 things yesterday and today. Yeah, I'm selling the purple. And I went through this a little earlier, but back to the board, going back to the Helix. And I'm not selling stuff because I'm worried about money or anything. I'm selling stuff because I want to get to a point where my gear makes more sense to me. I love the purple guitar, and also I'm selling the Edwards ESP with the single coils. I don't see myself really using that much live. I love using it in the studio, but I like live guitars, so that's on Reverb, and the purple guitar's on Reverb too. And I want to get these things shipped out ASAP before we're locked down. So yes, I'm going back to Helix. Going to be using it 4-cable method with the Synergy stuff. I just think, like I was saying earlier, I always do this in extremes. I get an idea in my head and I start there, put it all together. I play a show. I say, I got to fix a few things. I take some pedals out, put others in, put bigger stuff in, take stuff out, change a lot of stuff around. And then by the time I've gone through about a month and a half of changing things, I usually end up where I need to be, in which is what makes the most sense is the Helix right now. Not only because it's got all the effects I need, it's easy to program, I'm familiar with it, and also it's a backup amp. Let's see, Aaron's saying trying to get Helix so we can go direct and also use it with the Synergy. Yeah, that's what I want to do too. So going direct, yeah, you should be able to. I know Jared's been helping me out a little bit, so he's got that thing out. And the other thing about the Helix too is, when I was going to keep the pedal board the way it was, I was going to end up buying the Torpedo Cab M just to have more options for IRs and that power amp simulation. And I'm like, why spend like another $200-300 on something like that when I can just run IRs through the Helix? I didn't think about that one before. That one just completely slipped my mind, that I can actually be able to do that, where I can run the Synergy 4-cable method and then use the IRs, disable the cab simulation, DI out, and then use the IRs in the Helix and use whatever IR I want, or even their stock cabs, just to have different flavors. So that was a big selling point again for the Helix. I think this will be my third one. And like I said earlier, I sold the other 2 mainly because I was using them as amps, as digital modeling amps, and that's why I sold them. I wanted to go back to sort of using tubes with the Kemper, which is not really tubes, but it's more tube-like to me than the Helix is. And now that I'm back to actual tubes, I just think the natural progression is to go back to the Helix as an all-in-one package rather than go crazy. I was programming MIDI the last 2 days on groups on Facebook and on forums, and by no means am I MIDI stupid, but it was just a lot of programming to do like simple things, like just to have one pedal turn, one switch on the Boss ESA, turn this on, and then try to turn that off, but also revert back to something. It's doable, but I just didn't want to go through all that anymore. And the Helix, one couple of button pushes and you got that. So and Aaron, having a Helix, that how easy it is. So right now I am looking for a cheap Helix somewhere, hopefully with a bag. Helix Direct could be good enough. With the Synergy, it should be great. Helix into Synergy sounds brighter than going directly into the amp, but maybe I can EQ that out. Yeah, that was the other thing that almost it paused me for a second, because the Line 6 stuff, and I know that especially with the HX effects, I had tone loss with the HX effects going into a tube amp. I don't think there's any buffers. Maybe they say there are, but I don't think they're really that good. But that's why I'm keeping the Friedman buffer bay, because at least there's a buffer in before I go into the Helix. Hopefully that'll help. But if not, and the other thing I noticed too was that it would take the gain down a little bit. Like it wouldn't be as how do I say this? It wouldn't be as crunchy. Like if I was chugging away on something without the HX effects, and I had a nice crunchy sound going, but when I would run the HX effects through it for cable method, it lost a little something. It got a little duller, if that makes sense. So I'm going to have to really, and with the amount of time it looks like we're going to have here sitting around, I'm going to have to really dig in and try to figure out the best way to keep the tone as close to just plugging straight into it as possible. Anyway, that's I'm not going to stay on here too much longer. I just figured I'd hop on in case anybody was bored and just give an update on the crazy ongoings of my pedalboard build, and let you guys know if you're looking for pedals, go onto my Reverb. Let me check. My Reverb page is under, figures I gotta log in. Let me log into my Reverb page and I can tell you my shop. I don't remember what my shop is called. Let me see here. And that's not right. It'd help if I spell stuff right? Maybe that's why I can't log in. Alright, my store on Reverb is, where is it? Rich's Gear Depot. I sure will, Aaron. Rich's Gear Depot. So I got, let's see, right now I have the Boss ES8, the Micropog, the Ibanez Big Mini Tuner, which actually is a really good tuner pedal. I was really surprised by it. It's cheap too. MXR Phase 90, Boss NS2, MXR Micro Flanger, and the two guitars. And that purple guitar I got on there for $380 right now. So if you're looking for stuff, head on over. My whole thing, I'm waiting for my Reverb payments to come through so I can buy a Helix now and get it shipped ASAP. I'm worried that I'm going to buy a Helix, I'm going to wait too long, and it's not going to get shipped out because there's a lockdown going on. And then I'm stuck here doing nothing when I could be programming and doing all that stuff. But alright, I'm going to say bye, guys, and thank you, whoever did make it on, if you're watching this later on. Thanks, Pap. You too. Stay safe. Try to stay inside. Don't go, well, you don't have to stay inside, but, stay around your house. Try not to go anywhere, and hopefully we can come out of this on the other side and appreciate things a lot more than we have been. But talk to you guys later, and have a good day, have a good weekend, and have a good time. Have some good time off with your family. Here's a trick: if you got kids and you think they're watching too much TV, and I'm not going to take credit for this because I did see it, but in case you didn't see it, if your kids are watching too much TV, take the remote away from them, mute it, and put on the subtitles so they have to read. Now they're reading. They're watching TV still, but they're reading at least. So every little bit helps. Take them outside, show them how to change a tire too. Till next time, please subscribe. Hit the little bell, the bell thing down, whatever side it's on, and I'll try to hop back on here again if I get the Helix in time. But until then, take care. Bye.